You have been losing battles you never noticed. Every day, someone drains your energy, manipulates your thoughts, tests your patience, and feeds on your reactions. You hope they will change. They will not. Machiavelli understood centuries ago that human nature responds only to strategy, power, and awareness. To survive, you must stop being a passive target and become untouchable. This is not about confrontation. It is about understanding the invisible war around you, recognizing patterns of manipulation, and mastering the mental chessboard. Observation replaces reaction. Silence becomes your weapon. Emotional armor shields you. Today, the first step begins. You recognize the battlefield, know your enemy, and choose deliberate action. You are no longer a participant in their games. You are the architect of your own dominion. Before confronting an enemy, you must understand them. Toxic people do not follow logic, morality, or empathy. They are predators with their own rules. Ungrateful, fickle, manipulative, and covetous. Your anger fuels them. Your confusion entertains them. They seek domination, not resolution. Engaging them emotionally is already defeat. Observe patterns rather than personalities. Gaslighting, projection, silent treatment, love bombing. These are deliberate strategies, not errors. Awareness is your first weapon. By recognizing the pattern, you remove its power. Reaction is their oxygen. Observation is your blade. Every move you make with calm calculation wounds without striking. Machiavelli understood centuries ago. The man who sees the chessboard wins. The man who believes he is merely conversing loses everything. Your first shift in power begins with recognition. Your emotions are the leash by which toxic people control you. Every flash of anger, every desperate explanation, every wounded reaction hands them a blueprint for attack. Emotional detachment is not coldness, it is clarity. Observe without being consumed, witness manipulation without becoming a victim. Machiavelli taught that love binds through obligation. Toxic people exploit this instinctively. When you detach, you remove their leverage. You become unreadable, unpredictable, dangerous. Practice patience like a warrior sharpening his blade. Breathe when provoked. Observe insults without reaction. Silence will disturb them more than words. Every reaction you withhold strengthens your fortress. Your mind becomes stone walls. Their fire hits and burns out. Control your energy. Protect your inner world. Invest only in battles worth fighting. The man who masters detachment controls both himself and the battlefield. Words are weapons, but silence is a fortress. Most men speak too much, explaining themselves to people who have already decided to misunderstand. Toxic individuals rely on engagement, feeding on your reactions. Deny them this power. Master strategic silence. When attacked with words, resist the impulse to respond. Their accusations, provocations, and manipulations are traps. By staying silent, you force them to reveal their true intentions. Every withheld word is power gained. Your quiet presence communicates confidence, control, and observation. The world of noise and chaos belongs to those who react. The quiet man commands the battlefield unseen. In this silence, you gain clarity, observe patterns, and make deliberate choices. Your composure becomes a mirror to their frustration. Your untouchable state a testament to calculated mastery. Every word you reveal becomes a weapon in the hands of a toxic person. They collect details patiently. Not to understand you, but to use you. Your fears, ambitions, regrets, and hopes are stored like ammunition. This is not paranoia. This is strategy. Machiavelli understood that those who control information control outcomes. You must become selective, deliberate, guarded. Speak less. Observe more. Share nothing that can be twisted, mocked, or used for leverage. Silence around your inner life is not weakness, it is protection. Toxic people project constantly. When they accuse, they confess. When they interrogate, they expose their hunger for control. Listen carefully while revealing nothing. The man who becomes a vault cannot be exploited. Information is the battlefield. Victory belongs to the one who withholds more than he reveals. There is no punishment more devastating to a toxic person than your absence. They are parasitic by nature. They require proximity, access, and emotional supply. Strategic distance removes all three. This is not retreat. It is dominance through withdrawal. When you reduce access, fade from availability, and disengage without explanation, you shatter their expectations. They scramble, reaching out with false remorse, sudden kindness, and empty promises. This is not change. It is hunger. Distance starves manipulation. Machiavelli knew that not every battle is won by confrontation. Many are won by refusing to stand on the battlefield at all. You cannot argue with absence. You cannot manipulate someone who has already walked away. Strategic distance protects your future and reclaims your time. Your presence is valuable. Withdraw it deliberately. Toxic people cannot tolerate their own reflection. The mirror technique exploits this weakness with precision. You do not absorb their attacks. You return them calmly without emotion. When accused, you ask questions. When blamed, you reflect responsibility back to its source. You do not defend. You do not explain. You remain still. Machiavelli understood that appearances shape reality. When you remain composed, their aggression becomes visible to everyone. The mirror forces self-exposure. They see their own instability, their own cruelty, their own desperation. This discomfort drives them away or exposes them completely. You do not destroy them. You allow them to reveal themselves. Mastery requires discipline. The mirror must remain clean. Emotion cracks it. Detachment strengthens it. Reflect everything. Absorb nothing. Untouchable is not a tactic. It is a state of being. You no longer react, explain, chase, or tolerate. Emotional armor, silence, distance, control, and reflection merge into identity. Toxic people cannot reach what no longer exists on their level. Machiavelli understood that true power is position. Your position is clarity, discipline, and self-respect carved in stone. You build a life so focused, so deliberate, that manipulation becomes irrelevant. Their words turn to noise. Their presence fades into insignificance. You do not seek revenge. Revenge requires investment. You invest only in growth. You protect your peace like a kingdom. This is the final victory. Not defeating them, but evolving beyond their reach. They become footnotes. You become untouchable. Most wars are not declared. They begin quietly through tone, implication, subtle pressure. Toxic people thrive in this invisible space. They provoke without appearing aggressive, drain without appearing hostile. You sense discomfort but cannot name it. This confusion is deliberate. Machiavelli understood that the most effective power operates unseen. When you fail to recognize the battlefield, you fight blind. Awareness sharpens perception. You stop asking why they behave this way and begin asking how it benefits them. Every interaction becomes data. Every reaction becomes optional. Once you see the battlefield, you stop stumbling through it. You move deliberately. You choose positioning. You stop bleeding energy without realizing it. This chapter is about vision. The man who sees clearly cannot be ambushed. Toxic people depend on your blindness. Sight alone begins their defeat. Toxic people do not seek understanding. They seek reaction. Emotion is their chosen terrain because emotion clouds structure. Anger accelerates you toward mistakes. Guilt bends your boundaries. Sympathy keeps you exposed longer than logic ever would. None of this is accidental. Machiavelli observed that men are easiest to govern when their inner balance is disturbed. Emotional instability creates openings. When you react emotionally, you surrender initiative. The manipulator moves first and you follow. Discipline reverses this order. You do not suppress emotion, you contain it. You let it pass without permission to act. Silence becomes resistance. Stillness becomes control. When emotional hooks fail to land, the manipulator grows impatient, then careless. Their tactics surface. Their intent becomes visible. Emotional restraint is not weakness. It is the refusal to be moved. Power is rarely loud. It is patient. Toxic people rely on urgency because urgency strips you of calculation. They push for immediate answers, instant decisions, emotional closure. Machiavelli understood time as a weapon sharper than force. Delay destabilizes those who manipulate. Silence stretches their nerves. Waiting exposes their dependency on reaction. When you refuse to move at their pace, you reclaim control of the encounter. The longer you remain unmoved, the more reckless they become. Words spill. Intent reveals itself. Timing is not hesitation, it is positioning. The man who moves too fast reveals fear. The man who moves last moves with knowledge. When you master time, you force others to play on unfamiliar ground. They exhaust themselves trying to hurry what cannot be rushed. You remain intact, observing, choosing, unpressured. Toxic people rarely attack directly. They erode quietly. They whisper, imply, distort. Their objective is not confrontation, but doubt. Machiavelli understood reputation as a defensive structure built long before it is needed. When your conduct is consistent, calm, and disciplined, lies struggle to attach. You do not rush to defend yourself. Defense signals vulnerability. You allow time and pattern to speak. A stable reputation turns accusations into noise. Those who observe begin to question the accuser instead. Silence, when supported by history, becomes authority. The man who reacts loudly weakens his position. The man who remains unchanged forces others to explain themselves. Reputation is not image. It is accumulated behavior. Once established, it shields you without effort. Toxic people rely on instability. Consistency starves them. Their whispers collapse under their own weight. Words mislead. Position does not. Toxic people seek access before they seek control. Proximity creates influence. Machiavelli understood that power begins with placement, where you stand, how you are approached, what you allow. When you occupy unstable ground, every exchange weakens you. Psychological positioning is the refusal to meet others where they want you. You choose elevation, distance, framing. You control when interaction occurs and on what terms. This is not avoidance. It is structure. The man who allows unrestricted access invites intrusion. The man who regulates access defines the encounter before it begins. Toxic people grow uneasy when they cannot close distance. Their leverage dissolves. Positioning transforms interaction into observation. You are no longer inside the conflict. You are above it. Control is maintained not through dominance but through unreachability. Toxic people believe they are unpredictable. They are not. They repeat themselves because repetition is all they know. Machiavelli understood that true power lies not in reacting, but in anticipating. Predictive control is the discipline of watching patterns instead of words. Observe how they provoke, when they retreat, how they return. The timing never changes. Once you recognize the sequence, their behavior loses its threat. You are no longer surprised. Surprise is what gives them advantage. When you anticipate their next move, you strip them of momentum before they begin. You adjust your position in advance. You limit exposure before conflict arises. You are already prepared when they arrive. This creates psychological imbalance. They feel exposed while you remain composed. The man who predicts does not fight, he waits. And waiting, when done with knowledge, becomes domination. Most men believe conflict begins when words are exchanged. They are wrong. Conflict begins the moment you accept the battlefield your enemy has chosen. Toxic people thrive in chaos, emotion, urgency. That terrain favors them. Machiavelli understood that power is not only about winning battles, but about deciding where battles occur. Reframing the battlefield means refusing to engage on hostile ground. You slow the pace, you remove urgency, you deny emotional arenas. When they provoke, you do not argue the content. You change the context. You move discussions into structure, into time, into silence. This disorients them. Their weapons become useless. Anger has no target. Manipulation has no grip. They are forced to either adapt or withdraw. Most cannot adapt. They depend on disorder. By controlling the environment, you control the outcome before a word is spoken. Most men leave situations emotionally. They explode, explain, or collapse. That is weakness disguised as relief. Machiavelli understood that exits define reputation more than entrances. Exit with power means leaving without noise, without justification, without emotional residue. Toxic people expect collapse. They wait for reaction. When none arrives, confusion replaces control. You do not announce departure. You do not seek closure. You simply become unavailable. Access is revoked quietly. This silence creates imbalance. They replay conversations, search for leverage, find nothing. Your absence is clean, disciplined, irreversible. Power is not in being remembered loudly. It is in being felt after you are gone. The man who exits correctly leaves no openings, no explanations, no emotional trails to follow. He disappears intact. If this lesson resonates, consider leaving a comment with your insight and reinforce your own power by subscribing and liking for more knowledge on mastering control.